a word that's written on this board. And what I want you guys to do is tell me, when I turn it around, tell me some other words or ideas that come to mind when I show you this word. The word is adventure. And you can just for now, call it out. What are some other words that come to mind?
Exploration.
Exploration, nice. Yeah.
Discovery.
Discovery. Yeah.
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Yeah.
Danger.
Danger, nice. Yeah.
Learning experience.
I think that there's another word that I could replace adventure with, and all of these same things would apply. Science.
Knew it.
Nice. So, at the end of the day, we're gonna come back to this board and I'm gonna ask you whether you agree with this or not. Turn to your neighbor and talk about, what do scientists do? We're gonna get the chance to act like scientists all day. And so what is it that scientists actually do?
They use curiosity.
Yes, they use curiosity to make new discoveries.
They can put logic into a different perspective. They want to explore more things or put more evidence into something that has already been exposed to the world.
Scientists discover things.
What I have here are some things, a lot of things that you guys already talked about, right? These are some things that scientists do outside. We're talking about field science, and we say that the things that scientists do are the practices of science. You guys right here, what are some things that you notice about this object?
It has bumps and it looks like it's like burnt.
Looks old.
Yes. It looks, okay.
Old, burnt.
Cool. So what these guys are already doing is they're starting to explore and they're starting to observe. Are there any questions that you can ask about this?
How old it is?
What type of tree it comes from?
What kind of fungus it is?
Another practice of being a scientist, right, is asking questions. You guys over here, what are some things that this reminds you of?
On a tree, there's little pegs, kind of.
It looks like a Smurf house.
It nice.
Oh, it also looks like a frog.
Yeah, I just saw that too. So making connections, right, is another practice of science. And all of these things together, right, when we explore, when we observe, when we're asking questions and making connections, all of that is part of discovering science mysteries. This little thing right here is a science mystery, right? And there's tons of them all around us. Does anyone have an explanation for something about maybe what this is, and try to use evidence?
I think it was fungus that grew on a tree.
And so can you point out some evidence for why you think that?
It doesn't look like the bark on the tree, and it looks like a different species of plant.
What you guys just did there is making explanations based on evidence, right? And we're gonna keep doing that all day today also. So turn and talk real quick. What are some other practices of science like this that aren't on here?
Experiments on trees.
Discussions about what you found and how might affect other people.
While we're out there today, I want you guys to be thinking about these practices of science and kind of thinking about when you're doing them and what are some other practices of science that you might be doing while we're out on our hike today. So do you guys remember at the very beginning of the day we talked about some scientific practices and the practices of being a scientist? So in the very beginning we talked about the ones up here that are core to field science. So those are like the things that scientists do every day anytime they're doing science outside, they're doing these core field science practices like exploring and observing, asking questions, discovering science mysteries, making explanations based on evidence, right? And I saw you guys doing that a ton, like all day today, especially making explanations based on evidence. One of the main things in science is using all the available evidence to make the most useful explanation possible. There's a couple more categories down here. So there's these applying and communicating practices. And then over here, there's these investigating practices. So what I want you guys to do is turn and talk to a neighbor about all the different science practices on this sheet that you guys did today, and like how you did them. What did you do? Okay.
Observing.
We investigated, and we also we observed and explained. So we explained based on observation.
We discovered new things.
Can you count on your fingers how many science practices you did today? Like a lot. Yeah. Are there any on here that you don't think that you did?
Investigating.
Do you guys think that you did these in a specific order? Was there like one way that you went through them, or did you kind of use them all in various ways? Yeah?
We use them all in various ways at different times.
Sometimes you'll hear about the scientific method, and we like to say the scientific methods because there's really no one way that a scientist will do something, right? They're kind of going back and forth. You see these arrows here. Maybe they're sharing findings and they're asking questions, they're arguing and critiquing ideas, maybe they're collecting data, they're coming back and making explanations. So it's not like there's one order that scientists always do something all the time. I wrote science on the board right now. Some of the things that you guys said but that applied to adventure was explore, travel, excitement, discovery, yeah, curiosity, fun, adrenaline. What do you guys think? Do you think some of the same words apply to science and adventure?
Mm-hmm.